Hello, bankers. A very good evening to all of you. Welcome back. So, guys, in this particular session, we are going to discuss our unit number 9, which is International Economic Organization, right? So, when it comes to international organization, economic organization, we have World Bank, IMF, and some other institutions like WTO and some regional organizations and groups, right? So if you talk about this particular unit, basically you guys can expect max to max 2 marks question, and most of the time the question is around the differences between World Bank and IMF, or sometime it is around the WTO, World Trade Organization, and sometime they'll ask you some basic facts around these regional economic cooperation. So where we have G20, G8, G7, SAARC, ASEAN, OPEC, and others, these are generally part of this particular one, right? I hope you guys are watching these particular session on regular basis. And if you are facing any challenges, if you do have some sort of feedbacks and all, please do share with those particular one. So you can ping me on app, or you can share on WhatsApp itself. Okay? So I'll definitely work on those particular areas and will implement those particular thing in the upcoming session for sure, right? So let's start the discussion with the economic international economic organization. So as you can see, it is clearly mentioned IMF versus World Bank, WTO, regional economic cooperation, recent international economic issues. So these are some areas which are generally part of this one. Okay? So mostly this unit is static in nature. You do have to remember the functions or the uses or the key working areas of these particular one. So when it comes to IMF and World Bank, IMF which generally provide support or financial support or assistance for to support the balance of payments of economies. When it comes, their loan are usually medium to short term. When it comes to World Bank, their loans are usually for the development purposes, and they generally support the developing and underdeveloped nations, and their loans tenures or their grants are usually for long term period, right? So we will start our today's discussion with IMF, International Monetary Funds, one of the biggest financial institution in the world. So IMF, as you can see, the core objective, international monetary cooperations, to eliminate exchange control, to promote investment of capital backwards and underdeveloped countries. Then we have to ensure stability in forex and promote international trade, and to eliminate or reduce disequilibrium in balance of payments and all. So these are some core areas where basically IMF that generally worked. Okay, it was established in 1945 itself, both the organization and IMF as well as World Bank. They are basically outcome of the Bretton Woods system or conference, right? A Bretton Woods conference, and both institutions they are having their headquarters in Washington DC. IMF at present we have 191 members, and World Bank it is 189 members, right? So the formation of IMF was initiated in 1944 at the Bretton Woods Conference. IMF came into force on 17th of December 1945, and today international organization consists 191 members at present. Headquarter is located in Washington DC, and it focuses on fostering global monetary cooperation, securing financial stability, facilitating and promoting international trade, employment, economic growth around the world. The IMF is a specialized agency of United Nations itself, right? So now when it comes to IMF, there is one thing which is very important for this from this particular organization, that is the asset system, or which is known as SDR, special drawing right, that get asked so many times when they ask question around which of the following statement is correct or incorrect about SDR or about the IMF. They'll definitely include that SDR point in your examination, right? So let's talk about the SDR system. So it is a basically asset-based reserve system. it is not a currency, but it is asset-based reserve system. Basically, member nations, they generally maintain some reserve with the IMF, and those reserve are classified in term of SDR. So India, which generally comes under the top 10, and US, which has maximum reserve with IMF. And based on this, we decide the quota itself. Okay. So whenever we make or we grant or we give loan to any country, so your voting right is decided on the basis of your reserve system with IMF, or your total SDR holdings with IMF. SDR is also part of your forex reserve. Okay, so for, like, let's say when we calculate our forex reserve, so we do include SDR in that particular one, right? So it is a combination of five currencies, and their weight is maximum, minimum. That also get asked so many times. So maximum weight is that generally belongs to US dollar, and minimum, sorry, the newly added currency is Chinese yuan or renminbi. So SDR, an international reserve asset created by IMF to supplement official reserve of the member countries. The SDR is not a currency, it is clearly mentioned here. It is a potential claim on the freely usable currencies of IMF members, such as such, SDR can provide a country with liquidity itself. Okay? So when it comes to the like we have reviews on SDR basket. So as present, we have five currencies, and the latest review on this particular one happened on 2022. The next one is scheduled for 2027, right? So as per this particular one, we have like these five currencies. US dollar, please do remember this one. So many times there is a half marks question which is not part of SDR basket and all. So US dollar with maximum weight is आपका 43.38. Euro, which is 29, second most, 29.31. Chinese renminbi, which get included in this particular basket in 2015 and has 12.28%. Japanese yen, 7.59, and pound sterling, it is 7.44, right? So this is something which you have to remember. These the name of these five currencies and the maximum weightage or the newly added one. So this is the content which you have to remember from this particular one, right? So the another institution is World Bank. We'll come to the differences. So we'll talk around the loans and other areas also. So World Bank at present, it has 189 members countries. World Bank Group, where we have five branches kind of, or five groups, is a unique global partnership. Five institutions working for the sustainable solution that reduce poverty, build shared responsibility in developing countries. World Bank Group work with country governments, the private sector, civil society organizations, regional development banks, think tanks, and other international institutions on issues like climate change, conflict, and food security to education, agriculture, finance, and trade. So these are some core areas of World Bank functioning and all. This is something, this get asked so many times. Okay, this was part of my 2023 October examination also, but the question was incorrect. Okay, so we got some sort of grace marks for that particular one. There was a question ki which of the following is like India is not part of which of the following groups, but India is not part of SID, but they have this was not an option. Okay, that was a glitch with that particular question. So when it comes to international bank, we have five groups of World Bank. The first one is IBRD, which is known as International Bank for Reconstruction and Developments. So it provides loan for middle income countries and credit-worthy developing nations. Then we have International Development Association offer concessional loan, credit, and grant to world poorest countries. International Finance Corporation (IFC) focus on private sector developments in developing countries. Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency (MIGA) so promote foreign direct investment in developing countries for by providing political risk insurance. And ICSID, which is International Center for Settlement of investment dispute, provide a forum for resolving investment dispute between government and foreign investors. So basically, World Bank is, these are kind of a branches of World Bank. World Bank itself, which include all these particular one, take a kind of departments you can say, or the as a whole it become World Bank, right? So one by one, first one IBRD. So it was founded in 1944. These all formed with the World Bank itself. So 1944, soon called as World Bank, it has expanded to a closely associated group of 5 development institutions. Two major accomplishments of the conference were the creation of the international IBRD and IMF. Okay. So provide loan, credit, and grants. The another one is IDA. So IDA, it was founded in 1960. Put a greater emphasis on the poorest countries, part of the steady shift toward the eradication of poverty, becoming the World Bank primary goal. Provide low or no interest loan to low income countries. Okay, basically, it is the loans which are generally provided through the IDA. They are majorly in term of grants. Grants is something which countries they do not have to pay, or it can be conditional also. You just have to pay the principal amount after 10 years, 15 years, or else you do not have to pay the principal or interest on these kind of loan, right? IFC, the major financing of World Bank, which generally happen through the IFC, International Finance Corporation. So, with founding IFC in 1956, the institution became able to lend to private companies and financial institutions in developing countries. IFC provide investment advice and asset management to companies and government also. Final one is MEGA. So MEGA was founded in 1988 officially. Ensure lenders and investors against political risk such as war and all. MEGA ensure lenders and investors against political risks. So when it comes to MEGA, it is something kind of an insurance agency which is generally providing coverage to the political risk, political or country risk, due to some sort of uncertainties or some sort of war conditions or political disruptions and all, they generally get covered through this one. ICSID, which was founded in 1966, investment dispute between investors and countries. ICSD settles investment dispute between investor and countries. All those efforts support the World Bank twin goal of ending extreme poverty by 2030 and boosting shared prosperity of the poorest 40% of population in all countries. So this is something which is completely static in nature. So please try to remember this one. I'll not recommend any sort of rectification and all. Just while you go through the practice portion again and again, you will be able to remember these one. Okay? And I'll provide you one compilation of entire module A. So you can, if you wish, you can take the printout and all. Okay? And I'm also working on the book part. So that book I'll also share with all of you with short notes and summary notes, right? So this is something which is very, very important because most of the time the question will be around your differences between IMF and World Bank Group. So when it comes to IMF, it is a single institution. It comprises 5 institutions, World Bank. Oversee the international monetary system. It seek promote economic development of world poorest countries, promote exchange rate and monetary stability in its member countries and global. Assist with BOP bailout funds. Recently, they provided bailout to Pakistan. Earlier, it was Greece or some other countries also for short to medium term. Draw its financial resources principally from the quota subscription of its member countries as well. When it comes to World Bank, assisting developing countries through long-term financing. So basically, IMF will generally provide loan for short to medium term, and when it comes to the World Bank loans, they are generally for long-term period. It encourages private enterprise in developing countries through the affiliate, the IFC. It has insurance and attribution wings, MEGA, and ICSID. IBRD and IFC acquire most of their financial resources by borrowing from international bond market. IDA get donations, right? So how World Bank raise funds? In case of IMF, this is something which is a reserve maintained by the countries with IMF. They use that money. But when it comes to the World Bank, they generally raise funds through the bonds. Okay? They generally issue bonds on behalf of member countries at in the international market. Basically, they are providing some sort of guarantee. And this IDA will generally raise funds through the donations and all, right? So the next one is WTO, World Trade Organization, which is one of the biggest institution which generally manage or which generally work toward the overall promotion of international trade. Earlier, it was known as it is called GATT, but later on, 1995, when we officially formed this WTO, it is called World Trade Organization. So January 1st, 1995, it is established. Geneva, Switzerland, where we have headquarters of this one. Okay. So reduction of tariff and other barriers to trade, basically to promote the international trade is the major agenda. Headquartered is Geneva, Switzerland. Members, at present, we have 166 members. If you'll watch your book or if you'll study through books, you'll find some data lag because right now we have 191 members of IMF. World Bank is 189, which is true. And IMF, in your book, it is mentioned 164 or something. But presently, we have 166 members of World Bank. Okay? So, earlier, this the World Trade Organization was known as GATT. It was an agreement, basically, which is known as General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. So, later on, we form one specified institution in the name of World Trade Organization. So WTO since January 1995 and also had been members of WTO foreigners, which is GATT, since 1948. As developing country, India play a significant role in the proceedings of WTO, especially in votings of its own concern and also of the entire developing world as well. Okay? So in Doha WTO conference that would took place in 2001, India emerged as the most outspoken advocates for developing blocs. The meeting was declared a success since delegate of 142 countries agreed on a new round trade talks, including topics such as environment, competition, and investment. So there are so many disputes and activities, trade disputes, or how we can overall increase the international trades and all that. These kind of things will generally get handled through this particular institution, right? So major functions of WTO, again, this is something which is important. So first, administrating WTO trade agreements, that is GATT. Then providing a forum for trade negotiation, handling trade dispute, monitoring national trade policies, technical assistance and training for developing countries, cooperation with other international organizations. So these are some core functions which generally get performed by the WTO. Eventually, the entire idea is around the to facilitate international trade or to promote international trade, and if there are some sort of barriers, to remove those particular barriers and obstacles. That is the end idea behind the WTO, right? So like we have so many cases and all which generally solved by the conferences during these particular conferences, but you do not have to remember all these one. Okay? So like this is just for the reference purpose. It was given in your book itself. Okay? So you do not have to remember or recall these particular one. They are never going to ask any question around this. Then apart from this, we have some regional economic cooperations like institution like BRICS, which is a core members are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. We have G20, we have G7, we have G8, we have Eurozone, we have SARC, we have ASEAN. These are the institutions. The core idea behind all these institutions is to help each others, to share resources with each others. So it is for the betterment of all the members of those particular groups. in your book, they have given some institutions. So we're going through those particular one again in static in nature, right? So we have European Union. So first November 1993, we found this particular one. Okay. It got Nobel Prize also in 2012. This content is 100% aligned with your book, so you do not have to worry about the other things and all, right? So member 28 members, ठीक है? These are the European countries आपका, ठीक है? And like we have these are the member nations, and you do not have to remember all these member nations also, right? The another one is SARC, South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation, 1985, and the headquarters is located in Dhaka, Bangladesh. ठीक है? नहीं, sorry, Kathmandu, Nepal. It should be. हाँ, Kathmandu, Nepal. ठीक है? The meeting was held in Dhaka, Bangladesh, where we formed this particular one. But when it comes to the headquarter, it is located in Kathmandu, Nepal. So member countries are 8 countries. These are India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bhutan, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Okay. Number of observers in SARC, they generally get updated time to time basis, but these are the 9 observer nations. They also get invited while we conduct some sort of meetings and all, right? Then we have ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Jakarta, Indonesia is the headquarter. ठीक है? Founded in on 8th of August 1967. 10 members. We have Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, and we have Cambodia and Myanmar. So this is basically they form a group to help each other, to share the resources and all. So that is the one, right? So like it is something like we have groups now, we have study groups, we have friends groups, so where we are generally share our knowledge, our technology, our resources with each other, so all can grow. So similarly here also these are the groups, and they generally build, or they generally meant to develop or support each others, and so that entire region can grow, right? So then we have OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. This is something which has a broader importance. Reason being, they generally maximum oil areas are generally covered by these particular one, and whenever it comes to the oil, whenever they decide the pricing and all, it generally affect world economy, or it has a broader impact, right? So many times there, when they come up with some sort of price changes and all, it purely affect the world economies and all. Okay? So headquarter is Vienna, Austria, founded on founded in September 1960. Current members: Algeria, Angola, we have UAE, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Republic of Congo, Libya, Nigeria, Kuwait, Iran, Iraq, Gabon, and your Equatorial Guyana was a part of this one. Okay? So when it comes to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, it is a cartel of or group of 13 countries, right? G7, Group 7, earlier it was known as G8. Then Russia exit from this particular one in 2014. Then it become G8, right? So G1997, first when we found this particular one, it was only G7. In 1992 or 98, where Russia joined this particular one, and then in 2014 they exit from this particular one. So again it becomes G7. So Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, and US. These are the member nations. So goal is basically to help resolve global challenges with a particular emphasis on economic difficulties. Headquarters, there is no permanent headquarters. Whoever will be the member nation, that secretariat will be there only, right? So this is G20. When it comes to India is member of G20 only. So this is G20. The all countries are part of the G20. G8, Russia was there, then they exit. So then it becomes G7. So when it comes to G7, so this is your G7. These are the G7 members. G8, it does not have any existence now because Russia exit from the G8 and it becomes G7. And G20, when it comes to G20, we have all these particular members. All right. Chalo. Next one, guys. G20 1999. Goal is to bring government develop and developing countries together to address the major concerns and the global economy and the financial issues. So these are the member nations. G20 membership is made up of the world greatest advanced emerging nations, comprising over two-thirds of the global population and 85% of world GDP and more than 75% of global trade. So that means this is world one of the largest group in term of GDP contribution or in terms of global trades and all. So these are the country basically which hold 85% of world GDP, 75% of world trades and others. So that's why this is like at international level, if we comes to the importance of the groups or the meetings, this is something which is very, very important one, right? We have OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Developments. Its headquarters is located in Paris, 1961, 36 members. This is the so OECD is Intergovernmental Economic Organization to promote economic advancement and commerce, right? BIMSTEC, so which is Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Groups. So these are the nations which are generally aligned with the this Bay of Bengal areas and all, right? So a multilateral regional organization established with aim to accelerate shared growth and cooperation between littoral and adjacent countries in Bay of Bengal region. It has a total 7 members countries, 5 from South Asia, including Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Sri Lanka, and 2 from Southeast countries, including Myanmar and Thailand. It was founded as BIMSTEC in 1997, and with the adoption of the Bangkok Declaration, with Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, and Thailand as member, it became BIMSTEC, right? So this is the basic history of this one. That's it. So completely static one. Here, do not have to go for any sort of rectification. First of all, the another one is practice part is more than enough. Question type, you'll get half marks, 1 marks, and 2 marks. If it is 2 marks question, for sure only one question. If it is half marks question, it can be 2-3 questions. If it is 1 marks question, 2 questions, right? So max 2 marks, but it is achievable, right? Because most of the time the question is around the differences between World Bank and IMF. So that differentiation is very important. You will see the exact line. Another one is functions of WTO. That is the another part. Okay? And here is the summary as per your book itself. Okay? So International Economic Organization is that one created by a group of countries to promote economic development, global trade and cooperations. IMF July 1944, 45 countries that time met in Bretton Woods conference, New York, to agree on a framework for international economic cooperation when 29 countries signed an article of agreement. So initially there was 29 countries part of this one. Okay? India became members on 27th of December 1945. India is a founding members of IMF. Finance Minister of ex officio governors on the board of governors of IMF. So when it comes to the board of governors of IMF, so the member nations finance minister will participate in that particular one, and they are generally part of that particular board as well. The value of SDR is based on a basket of 5 currencies, and these are the 5 currencies: dollar, euro, Chinese renminbi, Japanese yen, and British pound. With maximum weightage from the dollar and out of 100, and the newly or the latest added currency is Chinese renminbi. India is IMF sixth largest quota holding members. India current quota is around 13,114 million US dollar. Sorry, SDR, not dollar. 2.76 percent of quota. With 1,32,603 votes, India has a 2.63% of voting share. So this is something like whenever, let's say, if we are coming with some agenda, So every member or आपका member nations, they generally participate in that particular voting. So if India is agreeing with that particular proposal, that means your vote will count it around 2.63. And if we are disagreeing with that particular one, so your vote will be counted at disagreement side with 2.63. So basically it is around your quota, like how much reserve you hold with IMF, slightly little bit low than you have your voting rights. Like you can see the overall quota is 2.76, the voting right is 2.63, right? The World Bank is largest development banks in the world. It offered financial solution and assistance to nations and all. So we have five groups, World Bank groups. These are International Bank for Reconstruction and Development (IBRD), International Development Association (IDA), International Finance Corporation (IFC), MEGA we have ICSID. India is not part of ICSID. Okay? So do remember this particular one. Now let's practice some question. And one wrong question is here also. Again, when did India become member of IMF? So 1945. India is one of the basket of five currencies. Sorry, which is not one of the basket of five currencies? So we have dollar, yen, we have Chinese renminbi. Canadian dollar is not part of that particular one, right? India is not one of the member of this. This question is given wrong here. So your right answer should be, what will be your right answer for this one? ICSID, right? So rest all we have members of this particular one. The next one, which one of the following, which nation is not a member of OPEC? So now Qatar is not member of this particular one, right? Qatar or Kuwait, there is one nation आपका, ठीक है, please cross check this one because they exit from this particular one in 2014. In India, is India member of regional comprehensive economic partnership? No, we are not member of this particular one as well, right? Chalo, let's practice some questions. Which of the following statement about international monetary funds are correct? Now, this type of question you will see in your examination. First statement, the IMF was formed in 1944 at the Bretton Woods Conference and started up with 29 member countries. They signed that agreements, true. SDR were introduced by IMF in 1969 to serve as international reserves asset, true. IMF provide a concessional loan to low-income countries and participate in debt relief initiative through HIPC and MDRI. True. IMF primarily focus on financing infrastructure project. No. Balance of payment is our primary objectives. So BOP should be right answer. So this is wrong. One of the key role of IMF is to conduct economic surveillance and provide policy recommendations to the member nations. 100% yes, through World Economic Outlook report. World Economic Outlook report. So every year IMF in the month of June, July, they come up with World Economic Outlook report, and they generally tell about the major concern and challenges faced by the world economies. Like let's say Indian economy, it is about all the member nations, 190 members. So they generally also provide the report about the specific nations, what will be the average growth for the world economy or the specific nation also, okay? So 1 2 what will be your right answer for this one? 1 2 3 5, 1 2 3 5, 1 2 3 5 means A only will be right answer for this one. So statement 4 is incorrect. IMF does not focus on financing infrastructure. Instead, it helps in balance of payment, policy recommendation, and financial stability. Next one. Which of the following statements are correct regarding India's relationship with IMF and the SDR? Important one. India being a founding member of IMF has always permanent sheet. No, the permanent sheet we got in 1970, right? So this is wrong. Please do remember this fact. India SDR allocation on priority use of IMF member nations to settle trade balances between each others? No, we do not use SDR to settle the trade balances. It is not used for this one. It is reserve system. SDR is neither a currency nor a direct claim on IMF, but can be exchanged for freely usable currencies. Yes. The composition of SDR basket review periodically to reflect the evolving importance of global currencies. 100% yes. And that is backed by the international trade or based on the international trade. IMF determine SDR allocations based solely on the country's GDP. No, it is not only based on the country's GDP. It is all about the country's GDP, foreign trade, exchanges. There are so many other reasons for this particular one. India's IMF quota determine its voting power, but its voting share is slightly lower than the quota percentage. 100% yes. So your voting power was 2.67 and your quota is 2.76. So this is the difference and the statement is correct. SDR value fluctuate daily on market exchange rate of the basket currencies. This should be right? Because that is directly linked with the currency. So 346, do we have 346? So 3467 means option C will be correct answer for this one, right? So statement 1 was incorrect. India was given permanent seat on the executive board in 1970 due to its high quota, but does not automatically hold it for forever. Please do remember this. Statement 2 was incorrect. SDR allocation are not primarily for the trade settlement, but for the supplementing reserve and providing liquidity. 5 was incorrect. IMF allocation consider multiple factors and rest two statements like 2.63 and 2.76. Next one. Which of the following program is not supported by World Bank? So World Bank will generally give loan for the development purposes and all things. So Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, yes. Pradhan Mantri Krisi Sinchai Yojana, yes. National Ganga River Basin Project for the cleaning of Ganga River, yes. Startup India is not part of this one. Okay? So what will be your right answer? D will be right answer for this one. Correct. World Bank support various development projects like these. Startup India initiative is primarily a government of India initiative to promote entrepreneurship in the country itself. Next one. Which of the following statement about the World Bank Group institutions are correct? This was the exact question or similar set of question which I got in your October 2023 examination. Okay? So very important, please do remember and read carefully. ICSID was established in 1966 to mediate dispute between international investors and state. True. MEGA protect investors against non-commercial and political risk in developing countries. True. IFC focus on financing private sector project in developing nation. This is also correct. IDA provide long-term interest-free loan and grants to the world poorest countries. This is also correct. IBRD primarily serve middle income and credit-worthy low-income countries by providing loan and financial advices. 100% true. India is member of all five. No. Okay, now this is wrong. India is not member of ICSID, right? So you have to remember this one. Wrong. IDA also provide major debt relief through the HIPC and MDRI. 100% true. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Option B will be right answer for this particular one, right? So India is not a member of ICSID. Rest all statements are correct. Next one. So these are the one. So we have gone through this one. So please do remember these one. So this is something which is very, very important from this unit. Next one. Which of the following statement correctly differentiate IMF and World Bank? Again, this is very important question because most of the time we have, like even the recent examination, this was the question, right? So IMF primarily assists countries for short to medium term balance of payment support, whereas World Group provide long-term financing for developing project. 100% true. IMF promote exchange rate and monetary stability, while the World Bank Group focus on economic development in poorer countries. True. IMF financial resource comes mainly from a quota subscription of its member countries, where World Bank raise funds through the borrowing from international bonds and donation. 100% true. All are correct. All are correct means option D will be right answer for this particular one. We just have gone through these particular one, right? Next one. Which of the following statement about World Trade Organizations are correct? WTO and related facts. So GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, were signed in 1947 and become effective from 1948. True. WTO was established on 1st January 1995, replacing GATT as a primary organization for the trade. WTO has 195 members. No. Right now it has how many members? 166. Okay. On this, okay. If you go with this date itself, it was around 162 or 164 members. During, if you go through the date specific also, it was 162 or 164. Right now it has 166. So this is wrong. The WTO top decision-making body is Ministerial Conference, which meet roughly uh, every 2 years. It should be every year or all. It is a bit doubtful. We'll check this one. One of the WTO function is to engage with IMF and World Bank to promote global economic policy coherence. True. So 1, 2, 5. No, that means stay 1, 2 and 4 5. Okay, that means A 1 2 4 5. A should be right answer then. Yes, that means this is also correct. Okay, they meet twice. Sorry, in every 2 years. Please do remember this one. Huh? So statement third was incorrect. WTO had 164 members on this date, but right now in 2025 it has 166 members. Please do remember both the data. Let's start. Fine. Next one. Which of the following statement about WTO are correct? So WTO provide technical assistance and training for developing countries. WTO directly impose trade policy on member nation. No, it does not. It does not impose trade policies. Trade policies are decided by the country itself. Like in case of India, it is DGFT. They can give some sort of advice line, right? So this is wrong. WTO accept WTO cooperate with other international organizations like IMF, World Bank. True. 1 and 3, C will be right answer for this particular one. WTO does not impose trade policies on member nations, but rather facilitate negotiation and dispute resolution. Next one. Which of the following statement about the regional economic cooperations are correct? So regional economic cooperation aim to promote economic growth, security, and in a specific or within that group itself. Okay. European Union was established in 1993 following the Maastricht Treaty, 100% true. The Eurozone consists all 29 members. No, Eurozone does not consist all 29 members. 19 members from European Unions. So this is wrong. SARC was founded in 1985. SAFTA was established in 2006 to promote free trade and cooperation. Cooperation among the regional economic organizations should based on equity, equality, and mutual gain. So 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5 means option B should be right answer for this. Eurozone consists only 19 out of 28 Eurozone nations and all, right? So this is the one, not all 828. Next one. Which of the following statement about ASEAN, OPEC, G7, G8, G20 correct? So ASEAN headquarters is located in Jakarta, Indonesia. True. The founder members of OPEC include Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. Qatar remain an inactive members of OPEC. No. Qatar exit from this particular one in 2019 or 2014. Again, they generally exit from this particular one. It was in 2019, I guess. 2019. We'll cross check this one. G7 was established in 1975 and include USA, UK, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan. Yes. Russia is a member of G7. No. Russia is not a member of G7. Russia was member of G8 when Russia exited in 2014. So Russia exit from this particular group in 2014 and it became G7. The G20 countries consist both developed and developing countries and represent 85% of global GDP. True. So 1246, 1246. Option A only should be right answer for this one. Right. Huh. So Qatar, which generally exit from this particular one in 2019, which is true. And Russia, which generally exit from the G8 आपका and it become G7, which is in 2014. ठीक है, both information are correct. Next one, okay, this is it. So this is one of the, like we can say, completely static driven topic आपका, ठीक है. I hope you get these particular things. Just revise things and practice. So I'll add more practice, especially where we have concept things and all, yeah, or these kind of static data and all. Okay? So if you practice these particular one again and again, believe me, you will be able to remember and you will be marked the right answer also. All right, guys. So this is it from my side. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you for watching this session. I'll see you in the next class where we will be discussing our another topic. All right. So this is it, and all the very best for your preparation, guys. And if you need any other help, and if you are facing some sort of challenges, please do ping me on WhatsApp or Telegram. I'll try to help you out with those particular one. And if you guys have some sort of feedbacks around the arrangements and all, so you can also share those ones. So I'll definitely work on those, right? So this is it. Bye bye. Take care all, and have a nice day. Thank you.